A student-led protest and 54 students going to jail to help establish UNO's Black Studies program. That program opened on campus 2 years after the '69 protests.
As 6 News' John Chapman reports, after 50 years on campus, some fear racism still threatens the program's existence.
There's a plaque in the UNO Black Studies Department honoring the 54 students who went to jail after protesting the lack of Black Study courses at the university. That protest led to the arrest of the students. Mike Maroney was one of the 54 who went to jail. Maroney says it was worth the short jail time to play a role in establishing the university's Black Studies Department, now in its 51st academic year.
There have been a number of efforts over the 50 years to dismantle and get rid of that department. And on a couple of occasions, the community had to go to bat for it. We're glad, many of us are glad to still see it there.
Dr. Cynthia Robinson is the chairperson of UNO's Department of Black Studies. Dr. Robinson says the department is doing well, but they're still on guard.
I'm very happy with the direction it's going. We get all kinds of accolades, but that doesn't mean 2 years from now, 5 years from now, there won't still be a fight to get rid of the Department of Black Studies.
Dr. Robinson says the Black Studies Department wasn't welcomed on campus when it was established in 1971 and still fights for acceptance now.
It has always been a fight on this campus to make Black Studies be seen as a viable discipline, as something important that students should take. You know, advisors might tell students, don't take Black Studies. Why would you major in Black Studies? I was told that.
Mike Maroney is now president of the Omaha Economic Development Corporation. He's proud of his involvement in helping to establish the Black Studies Department, but he's still not completely satisfied.
It probably could use strengthening, could use more resources, especially in these times when there's so much misunderstanding, I think, about what all this really means. But we continue to have faith that it'll be there 50 years from now, and it'll be making a difference.
On your side in Omaha, I'm John Chapman, 6 News.
In 1968, San Francisco State College founded the first College of Ethnic Studies, and that department was also established after a student-led protest.